I knew the trappings of the big house in the gated community, the expensive cars, the beautiful everything you can name, the nice trips, and the misery. So you can have multiple six-figure misery too. And what I also knew is that it wasn't being addressed because there's a lot of guilt with, okay, I shouldn't have any problems. Because most people are looking at you like, girl, you got it going on. And to the eye, you do. But as we know, our lives are not about what we can see. There are lives that look great, but felt horrible.
Mm. Hey there, Ryder. What's going on? Now, before we get into today's episode, I have a question for you. How long have you been sitting on your book idea? If you're tired of thinking about it and ready to actually make progress, join me the last Sunday of every month for my live writing masterclass. Now, this isn't just another class. It's an interactive space where you finally gain some clarity on your book and help you break through some mindsets that are blocking you and get the roadmap to actually start writing. And as a bonus, when you register, you'll get a free 20-minute coaching session with me. Spots are limited. Don't wait. Click the link in the show notes or scan the QR code to sign up. Let's get your book out of your head and onto the page. I'll see you then. Welcome back to another lovely episode of 30 Minutes of Power. TOP, your one-stop shop for all things encouraging, motivating, and entertaining. It's your girl, Jori O'Neale, and I am here today with a new friend of mine, Miss Cledra Gross. She is a powerhouse coach, speaker, and CEO of Next Level in Business. With a background in engineering and a heart rooted in faith, Cledra helps high-achieving women drop emotional weight, grow their money, and build lives they truly enjoy. She's the creator of Total Life Design Framework, a holistic, soul-aligned approach to success that blends strategy, mindset, and spiritual alignment. She got certified through the Life Coach School, and driven by a deep calling to empower women, Cledra is on a mission to help ambitious, faith-led leaders rise with intention, wealth, and joy. Whether you're building a business or rebuilding your life, Cledra brings the wisdom, tools, and truth to help you step into your next level. Please welcome her to the show, Miss Cledra Gross. What's
Thank you so
up?
much. Thank you so much. What's up? I'm glad to be here. Thank
Oh
you.
man, I'm excited to finally have this conversation. We tried to have this before. Things
I
got
know,
jacked
right?
up on my end, and so appreciate the grace. Um,
No problem.
I want to start things off by talking about something again that is not scripted. And I've been reading your LinkedIn posts as of late. If you're not following her on LinkedIn, folks, you need to start. All right, she's dropping gems left and right. But there's this post you put out recently that spoke about this new change that you have going on. So I'm not going to steal no thunder. I would love for you to share what's this new change in your life and what brought it about.
All right. So the new change is my hair. So I have naturally curly hair, but for the last, I'd say 15 years, I have either worn extensions or my natural hair has been flat iron, silk pressed, relaxed, all of the above other than my natural hair. And so I was going actually to my stylist to get my extensions put back in, to be honest, because I had this great podcast by you that I was going to be interviewed for that week, and I was going to have the hair did and all that. And I was sitting there and I asked her, I said, what are my other options? It was just, I just had a knowing. And I don't know if you all can relate as you're listening. Just, I was looking at myself, just imagine you're at the salon, you're looking at yourself, I'm looking in my eyes, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. And she said, oh, Cleasia, you have lots of options. And she's telling me, she's opening me up to more possibilities than I had even considered for myself because I would always take my extensions out in the summer, but I would wear my hair back. I call it the Rosa Parks bun, just pull back in the bun. And that's the way I would rock it in the summer. And she was like, you do know that you could just wear your hair out. And I actually didn't know that. And she said, you should just try it. And I tried it and I loved it. I'm like, oh, wow, my curls. And I had to ask myself, at what point did I tell myself that the way I was naturally wasn't enough? And I remember, I mean, vividly, it was in probably the 70s or 80s. Beverly Johnson was the first Black woman on the cover of Vogue in the 70s. She was a supermodel and her hair was straight. And I remember thinking that was the definition of beauty. I didn't see any models of beauty with curly black hair. Just didn't exist. And I'm like, but okay, it's 2025 now, you know, and it's time to redecide. And so it actually started me on this journey of redeciding a lot of things, not just my hair, but I came home and got rid of like 90% of my clothes. I'm on a health journey. It's like I want to dress differently. My closet looks like I'm moving out, right? I had a Mercedes. I changed to a Honda Pilot because I realized I wanted that Mercedes again because I had to ask myself, when did I decide that that was a symbol of success? It was external, just like my hair. It wasn't because I really wanted it. It's because of what I was told was the status symbol of success. So yeah, long intro, but that's hair, closet, vehicle, all in one.
That's so much more than just hair. And so
It's
I
so
don't want
much
to
more than hair.
I
So
don't want
much
to
more.
downplay it because
Hmm.
I want to pick apart what you just said because I'm not
Yeah.
sure if you understood the magnitude of what you
Mm,
just shared.
mm,
Your
mm.
first step in making all of these pretty big decisions and
Oh yeah.
changes in your life came first from you asking, what are my options?
What else is possible? Yeah, what are my options? And looking in my eyes, you ladies are listening. You know how you're just looking at yourself when your stylist is standing behind you and you're both looking at your hair and you're looking in the mirror. And it was one of those internal knowings that what are my other options? I just had to ask the question because I didn't want to do the same. I
And so
didn't.
I'm gonna shift that into I hope people you are picking up what she putting down. I really hope you are because that is the question that I fear a lot of us are not asking ourselves.
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
my options? We've picked these majors in college. We've, gone and joined the workforce and obtained these careers.
Hmm.
And we feel, a lot of us, right? And I'm speaking for myself, being in education for 22 years, felt stuck, felt
Yeah.
like this is what I have to continue to endure for the next 12 years, right? 32 years or 33 years, then you get your pension and
Ride it out. Yeah.
I I asked myself the question. I wasn't sitting in the stylist chair. I wasn't going to the I just asked myself the question. I said, "What?" Actually, someone else asked me the question. I'm not gonna lie. I did not have no epiphany. It was not that self-reflective. I was sitting with a success coach, and this is why coaches
Mm,
are so important. My success coach asked me, she says, what do you want to be different?
mm.
This time next year, what do you want to be different? And I don't think I ever asked myself what I wanted to be different. I had goals. I had started building this business on the side, right? Like this is a side gig. And I said, what I would like to be different. And it felt like she was giving me permission for the first time. And that's what it sounded like your stylist did for you.
Yeah,
She gave you
absolutely.
permission. And my brain is like, oh, so many parallels. So I want to jump into what you do because I feel like it is so in alignment with what you just experienced.
Absolutely. So I would say I disrupt. I'm a disruptor of the status quo. And I am the coach that's going to disrupt you. That's the next level life and business because your next level requires a disruption of your current level. And so just challenging yourself to ask what else is possible in terms of money. So many women, we make more than we are like our parents' dream, and so we get these multiple six-figure salaries, and we think, oh my gosh, I'm doing so much better than my family. Why want more? And that's the wrong question. It's more of what am I capable of? What is my earning capacity? And for most of us, it's in the millions or multi-millions. Because how do we know that? Because we do that for other companies. We lead multi-million dollar business units. I know I did for double digit years. And so it's not that we're not capable. It's just that it's like my stylist said to me, she was like, you do know your natural hair would do that. And we haven't had someone to say, you do know the same brain that ran a multi-million dollar business unit for a company is the brain that could make a multi-million dollar company for you. It's the
Come on.
same brain, but we just don't have anyone to open us up in that expansive way because for a lot of us, we're doing really well for our history, but we don't live in history. We live more in vision, right? And so I always say, don't let your past be a prophet. It's not a
Mm.
prophet. You know, don't let that be some kind of prophetic utterance of what you're really capable of. And so I think women who are especially in my age group, I'm 54, I'll be 55 this year. It's just we're that bridge generation where we still remember the yellow pages and now we have AI, right? And so it's like a unique positioning of having to unlearn a lot. My generation, I don't think it's so much as learning as much as it is unlearning and then deciding what am I going to put in that place. Like I had to unlearn that straight hair was the only way that I could look professional. You know, I had to unlearn that a Mercedes meant success. I had to unlearn that, okay, I have to dress a certain way to be considered professional, right? And so in a nutshell, what I do is disrupt your current status quo and spend some time in this. Like, if you could design it exactly the way you want, the money, the time freedom, the choice freedom, the location freedom, the relationships. And I don't mean just intimate relationships, I mean the friendships, your spiritual growth, your church family. If you could design in totality, that's why I call it total life design, what would it be? And we spend some time looking at all of those categories and then looking at, okay, now what is it going to take to close that gap to get you there? And that's the work. That's the work.
I love that. I love that. So I,
Yeah.
I want people to understand like your background is initially in engineering and corporate leadership.
Chemical engineering, yes.
And so how did you make that leap from science and strategy to now like soulful transformation?
It's interesting that everyone says that. They're like, the how did you make the leap? And I see it as an integration because I see everything as a process, a scientific process that proves what, that not proves, but it aligns with what the Bible already says. Like, so chemical engineering, I see things in formulas and processes. So coming to this holistic approach, I see it as an integration of my work, not necessarily a leap from my work. Like it's included. So let me give you an example. So chemical engineering, it just foundationally is all about optimizing a chemical process. Well, now I simply optimize lives. It's optimal performance. And with a chemical process, the idea is what is preventing the optimization. Same thing I do for people's lives. I look at what prevents the optimization. It's always the mindset. It's always beliefs. Those invisible sentences that we call thoughts. Those are the things that keep us from living our optimal or optimizing, to the point of the lives that God has for all of us. So I see it very much as the same and not a leap from.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So it's all you did was it's a transfer of knowledge and skills.
different, exactly, an application. So, a funny story. So when I majored in chemical engineering, it was because my dad was like, we don't pay for undecided. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So when I went on the college tour, there was a brochure that said, we went to the School of Engineering because I was great with math and all the sciences. And there was a brochure that said chemical engineers can do anything. And the reason they can do anything is because of the critical thinking. And at that time, they had to take chemical engineers had more credit hours than any other degree on campus. That may still be the case now because you take so many courses across so many different areas that you have the thought process needed to go into a lot of different things. I have friends who are attorneys, who are physicians, who are I mean, not accountants, but CEOs, C-suite, lots of different things because the baseline thinking, right? So I always believed that as a chemical engineer, I could evolve into anything because that's the brochure I read that I could do anything.
You in literature, you read, saw a magazine cover and was like, "This is the definition of beauty, and
Exactly.
that's it. I'm not going to
I make
question it.
those
It is what it
associations.
is."
Right, exactly.
You saw a brochure that said chemical engineers could do anything. You're like,
I'm
I don't
sold.
need to read the back.
I'm good. I'm gonna major in that. Didn't know how hard it was gonna be. Didn't know really what I was signing up for. But yes.
I love that. And so
Yeah.
I have to ask the question because your career now is based on helping high achieving women who feel stuck
Yeah.
in some form, some area, some in their life, and then you help them to get unstuck. But I want to let's start off with a why. Why do you believe that these women who high achieving, maybe they feel emotionally or financially stuck, even when they look successful on paper, why do you believe that they're stuck?
Oh, because I lived it. So, I lived it. I
Mm,
I I lived it and those were all my colleagues. We were all high achieving women and back in the day, I mean, in my late 30s, my whole life unraveled and a lot of my whole executive team, our lives were unraveling. Almost all of us were getting a divorce. We didn't see our families. We were traveling a lot. At that time I covered from Maine to Arkansas. I lived in North Carolina. I was gone on Monday morning. I didn't come back till Friday morning. And so I knew the trappings of the big house in the gated community, the expensive cars, the beautiful everything you can name, the nice trips, and the misery. So you can have multiple six-figure misery too. And what I also knew is that it wasn't being addressed because there's a lot of guilt with, okay, I shouldn't have any problems. Because most people are looking at you like, girl, you got it going on. And to the eye, you do. But as we know, our lives are not about what we can see. It's there are lives that look great but felt horrible.
mm,
So marriages are strained. There are people like me struggling to have a child. So it's kind of hard to get pregnant when you're away from your husband 5 days a week, and so, lots of different things were happening and the issues weren't being addressed because at this point, you got to keep in mind, this was in the 90s. And so, women getting to those ranks, it was still relatively new. It's not like it's popular now, but the issues that a woman has at those issues at those levels in corporate are very different than a man. A lot of the
mm.
men that I work with had housewives. And I used to joke with them all the time. I'm like, what I need is a housewife. I need a husband and a housewife. So, because our lives were just so different. They were just so different. So I know not because I read about it, but because I lived it. And I know how the shame that comes with being so successful and you have an identity of being a smart woman, an accomplished woman. And so it's also, for me, there was like a shawl of shame to have all this public success and private failure.
Mm.
So I
Ah,
get the mindset of that. This perpetual feeling and that it's not enough. It's never enough. That's a high achiever, right? It's being perfectionistic, a people pleaser, overthinking, very self-critical. Those are the hallmarks. I get it. And so the stuck comes from where do I go from here when I've accomplished so much and feel so empty?
mm.
Or maybe I don't feel empty, but I just know there's different for me. Yeah.
You call yourself, well, at least on your LinkedIn profile, a faith-driven leader.
Yes, I do.
So, how does your faith guide your business and life decisions?
My faith is everything with my decisions because at the end of the day, success to me is to be in complete alignment with God's will, His word, and the way of life that He commands in His word. And so, and that's not just because I'm married to a pastor. It's my own personal relationship as well. And at the end of the day, what matters to me is that God's plan, whatever plan God had in mind when when He created you in your mother's womb, I want at the end of my life for that to be reconciled at the end, that it's identical, that the plan
Mm,
and the way I lived it out is identical. And the way we know that is when you have alignment, you will have a sense of peace. When you don't have alignment, you will have a sense of discontent. You just will not be able to rest in that. So my faith, I pray for all of my clients, and not all of my clients are Christian. Some of them are atheists. Some of them, I have all kinds of, whether they don't believe or they believe something totally different. But what they get from me is that deep love for them expressing the fullness of what they're capable of experiencing in life, not just what they're capable of achieving, but what they're capable of experiencing and being and prioritizing joy and love and the things that make your heart sing. And those things money can't buy,
Hmm.
you know? So, yeah.
This is good. I listen. If no one else gets anything, I'm having an incredible time, and I'm gaining so much. But who could listen to this and not glean something amazing from it?
Mm.
I have one last question. I usually ask people to leave two practicals for our listeners. Instead, I want to switch things up today.
Okay.
If you could go back and speak to your younger self,
Mm.
the woman just starting out in corporate, what would you say to her?
Wow. Oh, that's such a great question. If I could go back to speak to 25-year-old Cledra heading to Chicago, uh, I would say, I live by Romans 8:28, that it is all going to work together for your good. It is. You have to just stay focused on loving God and being aligned with your purpose, and it's all gonna work out. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Well, Cledra, thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you? Where can they connect with you? How can they get on that calendar so they can get them a session?
Absolutely. So if you're wanting to get a session, a next level consult, you can go to my website and it's cledra.com. That's just CLEDRA.com. I'm sure it'll be in the show notes. And on social media, I am Cledra on every social media channel. Other than TikTok, I'm not over there. So on LinkedIn, Facebook, IG, YouTube, Cledra Gross. Yeah.
Love that. So, what is next for next level life and business? What's next? Any upcoming tours you got going on? You trying to write a book? You going on a speaking tour? What you got going on, girl?
What's next is to expand the number of women I can serve. I mean, right now I have like a couture practice where I just serve a certain number of women. And so I want to expand more offerings to women. So probably some courses and some ways to interact with my work where, we wouldn't get one-on-one, but you would get some transformational content through a course.
I love that so much. But thank you
Yes.
again for your time. Really appreciate it. And folks, as we always say here, please go out and be an empowered person using your power to empower others. Till next time, people. Peace. All right, before we wrap up today, I want to remind you, if the book is on your heart, then this Sunday is your chance to finally take that first step. Join me for a live writing masterclass, and we'll break down the book writing process and get you moving forward from idea to execution. So head over to jorioneale.com/your_story_matters. Thanks for tuning in to 30 Minutes of Power. We hope today's episode inspired you to take action and make a positive change in your life. Remember, your power is meant to empower others. So share this episode with someone who needs encouragement today. We'd love to hear from you. So connect with us on Instagram at 30 Minutes of Power or email us at azironsharpensiron@gmail.com. Until next time, stay empowered and keep empowering others.
30 minutes of power.